What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hello and welcome to another deep dive episode of Brothers in Tech. This is Alan and Brian Jackson, brothers in technology, part of the bandwidth of brothers, as we like to say, here to help you with your technology needs, especially from a family standpoint, helping others in your family with technology needs. This is a deep dive episode. Again, it's a shorter episode where we kind of follow up on a main topic that we did in a previous episode earlier this month. That previous one, Brian, what was that main episode that we're kind of following up on now?
So we're following up on streaming TV services. Specifically, how do you go about choosing what kind of service you want to be able to stream your TV, your live TV? So the reason we're following up here is that there's other services for content that we want to make sure you don't get confused with the streaming TV, but most of these are in addition to streaming TV. So I think a lot of people have a streaming service, and then they also have additional content that they subscribe to. So we're going to talk about the different versions of those and pros and cons.
Well, and I think you hit on a kind of an important question of why talk about this. It always happens, and it never ceases to surprise me, but I understand why, because it can be confusing. People say, okay, well, I want to do like online TV. I want to get TV on through the internet. So I'm going to sign up for Netflix. I was like, okay, well, yes and no. I mean, it all kind of boils down to your definition of television.
Correct. Right.
The services we talked about in our main show are live TV, taking the place of like cable or satellite TV. You want your local channels. You want your AMC. You want your Lifetime. You want your CNN, Fox News, whatever it may be. That's what you're getting with those live TV services, just like you would with cable. These other services are ones where I kind of equate it to almost like how HBO used to be perceived, where HBO is a little more of a niche service. They had their own original content, plus they're playing some older movies or older TV shows. That's what these other services are, and they're kind of an add-on to your live TV. Now, I know plenty of people who don't watch live TV at all and just have these services, and they're perfectly happy with that. And I think I can make a pretty good case for some of those being a good option. But if you need your live TV, that's a whole different thing. Go back to the original episode, You'll understand the options there. These are ones that are either alternative or supplemental to that live TV experience.
Yeah, it's a question of kind of synchronous information versus asynchronous, right? Yeah. It's like you've got content that needs right now that's happening, news in the world, right? That's the live TV. If sports, right? You don't want to watch those later.
Yeah. If there's a major outbreak of a news item, you're not going to hear about it by watching Netflix.
Correct.
You will hear about it watching one of your live TV channels on your live streaming service if you go that route. So just some give and take with it as well. So let's talk about some of these more popular services and kind of how they differ, what their deal is, and our own experiences with them as well. And that first one, Brian, I already mentioned, is kind of the Mac Daddy of what you think of when you think of online streaming service, and it's Netflix.
Netflix
started as a DVD delivery service back in the day. That's actually a service where I used to use that and loved it back then.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
DVD, digital video disc, played into a player box connected to your TV. I know.
Wow.
I've dated myself. And
you were the older brother, obviously.
That's true,
but that's okay.
When they introduced their online streaming, I was ecstatic, although nobody else seemed to really care. But I bought in pretty early, and I'm glad I did. So Netflix, it's about $10 a month.
And amazingly has not really changed. Not really changed its cost, right? Yeah. It's been $7, $8,
and $9.
I mean, sometimes I think it was $12 for a larger. But yeah, you can get it for $10 a month, and I mean, everybody has it, right? I mean, this is the one that if people are going to have a movie service, they're going to have Netflix. I will say, and this will be something we'll have to talk about just more in just a second, but the only thing that I watch Netflix for now is the original content, personally.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't watch it for, I mean, they have so much content. They have so many movies, but I only look for what's new, what's something that I can't get anywhere else.
Yep.
And so it's kind of losing its appeal a little bit, although I will say that its new content, its original content is good. right?
The
I mean, they've done
original stuff is good, but I have found myself opening Netflix a lot less in the
agreed.
last 6
Agreed.
to 9 months than I was before. Because, they seem to be losing some of that richer back content, catalog content, in favor of their originals, which I understand why. The originals are probably a better lucrative market for them.
Yep.
But I don't find myself scanning for older stuff very often. I'll use other services for
which is
more
what you used to
classic.
do, right?
Yeah. I used to go to
you used
Netflix
to just
always.
pull up, and that's where you go to a movie. That's
Yep.
where you try to find a movie. Yep.
It's harder for me to find one of those movies on Netflix nowadays. But the originals, if you want some really good quality originals, especially ones that are getting award recognition, nominations, Netflix is kind of top of the game right now. They're still knocking out some really good stuff on the original side. It's just a question of whether you want to pay $10 a month to have more content available to you, or if there's not anything you see or have heard about from Netflix that you're terribly interested in, it's not a service you have to have. So
yeah, I think if you're someone who likes older movies, doesn't mind going back and looking at older movies, older shows, I don't think Netflix is where you want to spend your money.
No,
I think you're going to be
other
getting that
options
from
for
like
you.
a streaming TV service. You have streaming TV like a YouTube TV. You've got all those things showing up all the time anyway. You can record them all. So, I
Agreed.
think Netflix really is only for that original, in my opinion.
Nowadays, I
or
think that's the case.
if you did not have TV, if you did not have a TV at all, and that's not something you wanted, was live TV, then I think Netflix is the largest amount of content just to waste your time with.
I think for the typical human being, Netflix has more than enough content to keep you
Yes.
entertained.
Yes, correct.
It's just, but like you said, if you're already doing live TV and you don't really need to dig back and look for old movies, or don't care about older content, or don't care about the other originals, you don't have to have it. So
yeah.
What's another?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about another one. So Amazon Prime, right? Everybody knows the company, right? Amazon. Many of you probably have Amazon Prime. Many of you may have Amazon Prime for the delivery service, but not even realize all the other things that it offers. I was talking with someone the other day where I said, "Oh, I watched this on Amazon," and they said, "Oh, we don't have that." I said, "Wait a minute, you don't get Prime?" They're like, "Oh, we get the delivery." I said, "Well, add the app, right? You get music service, you get video service. So it's like Netflix in that it started to have its own content recently. Not a lot of it yet, but it's got some, and they haven't really received much acclaim yet. But the beauty of this one, I think, is cost. Honestly, right? I mean, you're looking at maybe $10 a month when you go with the yearly Prime service, but you're talking about that $10 a month gives you the delivery service, gives you the ability to do movie or music streaming, right? Book rental, things like that. It's a very powerful service. And so this is one that I have that I probably will never get rid of as long as they still have the delivery service.
Same here. I see this as actually a bonus one. It's almost like a no-brainer for me to have this. And anything I find TV or movie to watch on the Amazon Prime service, I consider a bonus, because to me, I do enough on the shipping side where that $10 a month is paid for with the shipping. So when the Marvelous Miss Maisel TV show, which is one that Amazon did, that's a good show. It's gotten a lot of acclaim. I feel like I'm watching that for free. I mean, honestly, because I feel like my cost has already gone to another part of the service, and the movies and TV shows are almost like a bonus for it. So I kind of feel like this is a no-brainer in a way to get. Honestly.
I mean, I think most people have it, and I think this is an easy way for people that are jumping into the streaming world. You realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm already paying for one. Let me go and add that app on and start streaming some movies, right?
And can I say too that if you're more interested in just finding some old movies and just digging through some old TV shows, and you do a lot of shipping through Amazon, this may be all you need, because they have a really pretty decent library of on-demand stuff.
Agreed.
In worst case scenario, there's a movie that they don't have on their streaming available library. They're going to sell it to you. I mean, you can buy it on the Amazon service for $3 or $4 to rent it. So it can be your one-stop shop for all movies and content you're looking to get. It's a good deal.
User interface, not great.
No,
but it's like I said, it's a bonus, right?
It's okay for what it is.
What else we got out?
So Hulu. Yeah, we mentioned in our main show Hulu Live as the live TV service that Hulu puts on. But we can't forget that Hulu has a separate separate interface, but separate service you pay for That's kind of the one that's been around a lot longer. Hulu was designed initially to be a reservoir of older television shows. A lot of the networks all came together and said, hey, we need to have a place where we can put all of our TV shows up for people to stream and pay a nominal price per month. So Hulu's, $6 or $7 a month. It's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
They've got some movies. They've got some originals. They've got a lot of TV shows. If you really want to watch old TV shows or dig into a library of TV, I think Hulu may be your best bet. Right. And it's a pretty small cost for it as well. So for $6 or $7 a month, you get a lot of entertainment options. Yeah.
And specifically the network TVs, right? I mean, we're talking the ABCs, the CBS. I mean, those things. That's if you like those shows and you do not want to watch them live, this is a great service to do that.
Yeah, with the newer shows, the newer TV shows, a lot of them will be available within a few days after they air on TV. So if you don't mind, if you're not one of those people that needs to watch it the night it comes out, you're okay waiting a few days. Now, I will tell you, CBS, I don't think is an active part of Hulu.
Oh, is that not? Okay.
CBS has their own CBS streaming service.
Got it.
Right now, NBC, ABC, and Fox, I believe, are all pretty, do a lot of their stuff on Hulu. So there's movies, but the real reason you would want to get the Hulu service is for older TV or more recent television shows on the network side. So, So what about, Alan, let's talk about this Apple TV Plus, because this is something I'm just now trying. And it's fairly new. It's been out in the last few months. For people looking at it from the surface, it's the cheapest option, right? I mean, it's what, $4.99 a month? $4.99 a month.
Yeah. And people, I think, initially say, oh, wow, cool. I can get rid of Netflix. I can get rid of all these others and pay $5 a month. This is a completely different service, right?
And Apple TV Plus there's no archived content. In other words, you're not going to be able to go on there and get older movies or TV shows or anything. It is all just original shows. So it is $5, which, I mean, but for what you get, which is not a big library right now, it's not super cheap. I mean, you're paying $5 for really what maybe account to today to like 10 TV shows. 10
shows.
Maybe so. And they're going to be all different types of genres. So there will only be 2 or 3 that are even appealing to you individually. The thing I will say about Apple TV Plus, you can get it for free if you buy an Apple product. So if you're already in the market to get a new phone, to get a computer or whatever, you're going to get Apple TV Plus for free for a year. So right away, if you buy one of those products, you got it and you might as well use it. That's where we are. I bought a new phone for one of my sons. Hey, surprise, we get Apple TV Plus for a year. Heck yeah, we're going to try it out. And there are 2 shows I've been watching on it and I like both of them. And the shows are high quality. They're really well produced shows. And the thing I have to keep reminding myself is that even though right now there's not tons of stuff on there that I watch, when Netflix started doing original shows years ago, there were only 2 or 3 good original shows. I think House of Cards was like the only one that was like really good. Everybody watched. Apple TV Plus, first year out, I'm watching the M. Night Shyamalan series, and there's also the one with Servant, and also the one with Jennifer Aniston and
the morning
Reese
show.
Witherspoon. Both good shows. So I'm like, well, already there's 2 or 3 shows that are good on the network, and that's their first few months out the gate. So I think it's going to be one to watch.
I agree.
I love the fact that it's $5 a month, but also keep in mind you're not getting a lot of content for $5 a month. So you got to trade that off a little bit.
Yeah. So I bought a new Apple TV box because I needed another one of those for a different TV, and so basically that became a $60 purchase instead of the 100 and something because I got a year of this Apple TV for free. Honestly, Alan, this is my approach to Apple TV Plus. I think what they're doing, and I think it's really smart, is they realize Netflix already has the huge database of old movies and old things plus the new service. And I think what they're trying to do is they realize, just like you and I talked about, that most people have Amazon. And I think they're realizing that if they can get the people that have Amazon to realize, well, Amazon's where I can get my movies, Apple TV is where I'm going to get my original content. And those 2 together will get rid of the need for Netflix, because quite honestly, that's what they're doing. They're trying to compete with Netflix's original content. And I think they're going to do that really well because they've got a lot of money and they're going to put a lot of stuff out. Right. So I'm actually a big fan, and I'm to the point where I would love if I can see this thing kind of evolving with some new things coming over the next couple months, I could see myself getting rid of Netflix, honestly, because
I'm close
I've got
to that
enough
point as
stuff
well.
on Amazon,
Yeah.
enough stuff on it, and I'm not getting rid of Amazon.
Nope.
And
in Apple TV Plus, we
Apple TV.
technically have, and you and I, okay, listen, we're going to buy some Apple device within the next year at some point.
Yes.
So it may be that we never actually pay for Apple TV Plus if they keep
they
doing
may just
that
keep
whole thing.
pulling it together.
So I'm with you. I kind of was feeling the same way. I'm like, look, I'm more interested in the originals that are coming out of Apple TV Plus than I'm starting to be for the Netflix originals. And Amazon has a great growing library of video back catalog. So it may be those two services are enough now.
And not to go too long on this one, but I do want to bring up one con with this. We already mentioned one, that it doesn't provide a whole lot of content, but Apple TV Plus is the only service I have ever used where I have had stuttering and spinning of the app. And this, you and I talked about this. You have a faster internet than I do.
Okay.
I think ours is maybe 35 megs or something. And we've never had trouble with Netflix, never had trouble with Amazon. When we start a movie or start a show, it just plays all the way through. Apple TV, every episode I have played so far will get about 75% of the way through. Pause, do a spin for maybe 20 seconds, and then finish up. And
that
it's
kind of makes
it's higher quality.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a higher quality.
Everything I've read is that they're pushing out a much higher bandwidth image and stream, which is great if you've got the internet to support it, because it looks really good.
It is really good.
But you got that challenge that, if a lot of standard internet services are not going to be able to keep up with it very well. So
so I would just argue, if you're below 20 megs on your internet, just do a trial period first. Right?
It's probably going to be a frustrating.
You're not going to get frustrated.
Could be a frustrating experience.
Yeah.
Dan Bryant of U.S. Health Advisors wants you to know your health coverage does not have to be complicated. If you aren't happy with your insurance plan, there are unlimited and comprehensive medical plan options available to you right now. U.S. Health Advisors offers solutions which can't be found anywhere else. They can even offer you the ability to purchase more coverage if and when you need it. U.S. Health Advisors offers fair rates and no surprises. Sounds nice, doesn't it? If you'd like to know more, contact Dan Bryant at 828-554-3032 or by email at daniel.bryant@ushadvisors.com. That's Dan Bryant at 828-554-3032.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Let's hit a couple more really quick. Disney Plus,
Sure.
I've got to mention because it's brand new. Just came out, honestly, like a month or two ago.
Yep.
I think in November is when it started. And, it's a pretty good price point, $7 a month. And plus you can bundle it with Hulu and ESPN Plus for $13 a month to get all three. So it actually works out to be a pretty good bargain if you like all three of those services. But Disney Plus is all Disney catalog content. Now, that may sound limiting, but understand Disney owns National Geographic. Disney obviously owns Pixar. Disney owns Star Wars. Disney owns a lot of the Fox television and movie content. So when you start building all that in, it's actually a pretty robust content.
Yeah.
I will argue, Brian, that if I'm going to ditch Netflix for anything, it may be for Disney Plus going forward, because also Marvel. I forgot to mention Marvel Studios, all the Marvel movies. So there's a lot of content. Now, I will say it is geared towards a younger audience because there's no R-rated content on Disney Plus. You're not going to find a lot of heavy adult stuff on there. But if you're someone who's into a lot of those properties and you like what they're doing, and for $7 or $8 a month, it's a pretty good deal. So I could actually see an Apple TV Plus and a Disney Plus. Then you've got your Amazon that you already have anyway. You really could be completely covered on all of your content needs and not even need a Netflix at that point. So
that's true.
Just an option. There's going to be some people that are going to say Apple TV is not my cup of tea, but I'm definitely a Disney Plus fan. In that case, this may be all you need as well. So we are getting a lot more options. Disney Plus is still fairly new, but I love the interface. It's really clean. The streams look really good. They do have a couple of original shows, but that's not been their strength yet. They've got one Star Wars original show that a lot of people like, but not a lot of other original content yet. But I think that is going to keep building on. And supposedly the whole Marvel thing, their original stuff's going to be on that network going forward. So that'll be another one to watch, but it is still fairly new.
Alan, I don't have any experience of that, but there's no contract, right?
No, it's still month to month, just like anybody else. So, and I think they do a 14-day free trial as well. So
that's great.
It's good. It's a really good, slick looking service.
Yeah.
HBO. Are you an HBO subscriber?
Yeah. So I have used it. I am not an HBO subscriber. I've watched it with some friends at their place. Obviously, they're well known for great content and have been for a long time, right? Their originals have always been highly acclaimed. So I could see why people do this, but it's expensive, right? $15 a month. They're going off of their name brand, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and it used to be back in the day of cable subscriptions. If you wanted to add HBO to your cable, it was about $15, $18 a month to add it.
Yep.
So the price has been pretty consistent. I have HBO, the streaming version of HBO, but I'll tell you the only reason I have it is because it came free with my AT&T family plan. They were running a promotion where you got HBO free as long as you have the family plan going. So I'm getting it for free. Now, would I pay $15 a month for it if I didn't already get it for free? I'd be hard pressed to. There are 2 or 3 shows I like on there a lot and I watch, but the movie backlog selection is not as impressive as Amazon's or even Netflix these days. The originals, I think, unless you were a Game of Thrones fan,
right,
not that many to kind of keep you enticed right now. So it's going to be another one to watch, but from the other direction, I think it may be one that we start to see lose some momentum with all these other services taking its place.
Or eventually, and I know they've never done this before, they're going to team up with someone else, right? I think they're going to figure out a way to team up. I mean, they've always been independent and people have always done it, right? So yeah, I don't see myself going with them unless something, some sort of bundling happens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there are some others, Alan, that I don't think we need to talk a whole lot about them, but there are some others out there like Crackle. I don't know if you've used Crackle before. It's a free service. Yeah. You'll get some things. If you listen to our earlier streaming services, pick of the show, you mentioned Just Watch. You may see some things coming through on Crackle there where it says, oh, you can get this free on Crackle. It's a free service. It's not a great interface, but it's
free.
Something you can throw on.
Yeah, they throw out ads
you can
on
get
the
it on,
movies, and that's how they pay for it, and that's fine.
But you can watch you can watch some old great stuff for free. So it's certainly something I would download if I got a new streaming box and just see what's on there.
Sure, absolutely.
Get an account. So, well, what would you do? So if you had all these options, Alan, if you were brand new to it, what's your advice?
Well, I mean, I find there's obviously something good on all of them. So, but that when you start to add all those costs together, plus if you're doing live TV, you're back up where you were, if not more than what you were paying for regular standard cable TV. Honestly, for me personally, I have Amazon Prime, and I'm never going to get rid of that. Kind of like you, I find that's a bonus to me.
Yep.
I hate that some people don't even realize they have this movie service when you're already getting the shipping service as well. I'm torn. I currently have Netflix. I currently have the Apple TV, and I currently have Disney. But Apple TV, I'm not paying for. Amazon Prime, I don't really feel like I'm paying for. Netflix is the one that I'm struggling with how much value there is for me. I could honestly see myself in a year where I've got Amazon Prime for any of my archive movie stuff and just trying to find old movies I want to watch. And I've got Apple TV Plus to watch some newer, edgier content that I'm interested in. And whether or not for the family, I have Disney Plus still around to watch all that. That may be the ones I have.
Yep.
And even between those, there may be a judgment call between Disney and Apple TV, depending on what they do with those services over the next year. I'd love to get it down to 1 or 2 services, and that's all I have. In addition to my YouTube TV. But what about you? Where are you kind of with this?
No, I mean, I'm similar. I have Netflix, I have Amazon, and right now I get Apple TV Plus for free for a year. So those are the only ones that I have. But I also have YouTube TV. So part of me has to start thinking like, there's only so many hours in the day that I'm able to sit at a TV, right? And it's not that many. So, if you get a streaming TV service and you're recording things, I'm getting less and less interest in Netflix, and there's not a whole lot of reason for me to have it. Now, I will say, I would either do Netflix, and that's where you get your edgy content, new content, and old stuff, or I would jump and do Amazon Prime and maybe one other service.
Yeah.
Given that I'm not going to give up Amazon Prime just like you, I see Netflix as being much less of an interest to me, because a lot of these new content, everybody's got them. Amazon's got them. Hulu's got it. Apple TV Plus has new content. You're not going to be able to watch them all, right? Or you shouldn't have time to watch them all.
You shouldn't watch them all.
You have a problem if you have time to watch them all. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think Netflix has got some work to do. I don't think anybody thought they would. I think they figured they've got the market cornered. I think they've got some work to do in the next 5 years to keep people. I think they're going to start losing people. So
I recommend a little bit of a challenge. This is something I think, especially with it being, we're recording this here at the beginning of a new year, it's kind of a good time to do it. So if you already subscribe to some of these, or you're trying to decide which ones you want to, don't base it on the service, base it on the actual show or content or movie you want to see. So for example, if you just if you were to cancel all the services you have, and say, okay, it's January of a new year, and there's a show that my family or my spouse and I, or just me individually, I really want to watch. What service do I need to get to watch that show or that content? And subscribe to that service for that month or 2 months or whatever time you need to watch that show. And then if another show is popping up that you really have high desire to watch, and it requires another service, you can look at that service and add that on as you need to. I think too many people go into it saying, oh, I've got to get Netflix, and I got to get this, and I got to get that. Well, but you hate to have those services that just sit around for the one show every once in a blue moon you watch on it. So maybe kind of boil it down to zero and only add the services you want for the show that you're really going to get invested in and want to watch long term. And when that show's done, if there's nothing else on that service that interests you, turn it off, like shut it down. Yep. You can always start it back up at a later date if another show comes available. So the only times you got to worry about that are the ones where you've got a special promotion where you're getting it free for a certain amount of time. Like if I were to cancel HBO, which I'm getting for free right now with my AT&T subscription, that would be a bad move. I mean, I'm not going to cancel HBO because I don't want to pay for it to start it back up. But if I were paying for it, I would stop it and then just wait till there be another show or type of thing I want to see on it. So that's the nice thing about these services. You can mix and match them, and you don't have to be committed to all of them long term. Pay for what you're going to watch. I still think these services are all incredible deals if you think about what you're getting for it. This is a world where we pay $10 to go to the movie theater to watch a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
To pay $7 a month and watch even just 4 or 5 episodes of a show during a month, you're getting your money's worth. It's a good deal. But that doesn't mean you got to pay for every service just to have it. I mean, pay for the ones you're going to watch and stop them when you're not watching them anymore.
Yeah. But I do think on the flip side of that, make sure that you go back and evaluate which ones you're paying for.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because you may realize or you may not realize that you're paying for several of these, or maybe some of the free.
You're not watching.
The free 2-week period has expired, and all of a sudden you just got charged for it, and you don't realize it. I'd say go back and do a wash every month or two and start fresh and say, well, let me choose this service for the next 6 months and give it a shot. So I think it's a good time to do that.
Set yourself a little reminder on whatever app or device you use and say every 3 months, I'm just going to do a quick reevaluation. Let me look at my credit card statement or debit card statement, see what I'm paying for. Okay, I don't really watch these anymore. Cancel them.
Yep. Exactly.
There's no commitments. There's no harm, and you can always restart it back up later on if something came interesting to you on it. So
yeah, that's good.
And again, just as a reminder to everybody, this is separate from the live stuff. The live stuff is a whole different category. These are more of that supplemental, additional media entertainment options. And some people may choose to go live, and that's all they need. Some people may choose to go the route of these services, and that's all they need. And others may need a combination of the two. It's really up to you. And the great thing is you can mix and match without any long-term commitments or contracts you need to be under.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're someone who really is looking at cost and wants the bare bone configured way of saving money, I would suggest looking at our next deep dive, which will be coming, in another week or so, of other access ways we can get over the air and some other different types of services where you can kind of create your own version of getting some of these things. So
we need to call it the Brian's Brian's El Cheapo route. So
El Cheapo.
Yeah, what is the most bare bones route we're going to go to get the bare minimum amount of entertainment to keep us happy?
We'll find some ways to save you money on that. Yes, yeah.
Looking for
and they're all legal. They're all legal.
Okay.
Well, mostly.
Brian's bargain basement tips. That'll be our next deep dive. You got to stay tuned for that one as well. That'll be in about another week or so. All right. Well, Brian, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up.
That's
As
good.
always, you got any suggestions or feedback for us, write us at info@themesh.tv or just visit themesh.tv, find Brothers in Tech, and choose to send us a note from there. We'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned. We'll have another deep dive and, of course, coming soon, another full episode with a whole new topic for you. So thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, bye-bye.
What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.